Hey guys, Prangell Gaming here. Welcome back to Talk the Wall. This is the 19th installment, and before we get right into any of your responses or questions you may have had, if you haven't seen the other 18 installments, yes, it has been that long. It's going really well. I'm enjoying all your feedback and everything, and I really would suggest if you haven't seen any of these other installments, then go check them out. There's going to be a link in the description of this video for the last Talk the Wall, or if you wanted to go ahead and see the playlist, then you can click the I button and there'll be a link to that there so you can go see all the action you have missed. But as always, if you have any questions or opinions, then do put them in the comments section as I want a Millwall voice throughout. And before we get into this, I do want to know your score predictions for the Luton game, which is obviously in the Checkatrade Trophy, and also the Bristol Rovers game, which is in the league. Do put them in the comments section, but also specify which one you're predicting to make my life easier when I come to the predicting side of the Talk the Wall. And while you're down there, add your opinions on what you felt went right and wrong in that match, and Millwall as a general. I do like to hear that as well. Now, do bear in mind, I record this on a Monday, so if anything becomes new or outdated, then I will actually cover that next week. So every week I ask you to put your predictions for the matches or match that Millwall play, and this week Millwall played Southend United in the FA Cup last Friday, and 5 of you said your predictions. So we'll start with the right one, and that was Billy Gibson. He said that we would win 1-0, however he said Morrison would score. Now I probably think he would have if he hadn't have got injured, to be fair. Morrison is a pretty good and reasonable goal scorer. Anyway, congratulations for getting that right, and that's a pretty good achievement because not many people always get the score right. And what do you reckon the score will be for the Luton match tonight? Next, I'm going to say the two closest predictors. They were Harry CD and Lucas United. They both said that we'd win 2-0. And while they were both not quite right, they did both say something interesting. So Harry CD said a defender would score, and long behold, Marlon Romeo scored. So well done for getting that part right. And Lucas United said the scorers and the minute. And I think that is absolutely fantastic, especially if that had been right. I really do encourage you guys to go ahead and do that. It's just something different, and you'll definitely feel more accomplished if you get that right. And the final predictions were actually Joe Holloway and Elite She. They said that we would win 2-1. Elite She didn't say any goal scorers, but Joe Holloway said that Worrell would score as he is an ex-Southend player, and Lee Gregory would score from the spot. And to be honest, if I had to put a goal scorer down, it would have to be Lee Gregory from the spot, as he just doesn't score any other way. And just on a side note, could you imagine the scenes if David Worrell had scored? I would have loved to have seen that, and I think you guys would too. That would have been such a great moment to have witnessed. Let's move into your comments, and the first one is by Red Army TV Vlogs, and he said, I agree, our lone players got us promoted if you ask me. Now, for a little bit of a backstory on who Red Army TV Vlogs is, well, he's a Barnsley fan, and before you go and give him hate, please stop. He is one of the nice guys. He really doesn't need any abuse, and I have seen the comments you put on the vlog for the Wembley match, so stay calm. He is on our side. He wants to give you a lot of talk about the experience, how the club's going, how we could progress, and things like that. And I think it's a great feeling to have a point of view from other fans, as it just makes this podcast more diverse, and it means that you can talk about completely different things, because the Championship, believe it or not, is completely different to League One. There is a lot more money in the Championship at the moment, and I've got to admit, he does agree with the lone players helping the club out to get promoted. But with me, I'm kind of on the fence of this, because I feel that loans could be great if you can actually get them from the Premier League. But if they are good, then we usually can't afford them, and then we have to fill that gap. So that's kind of why Neil Harris has filled all the gaps and added in so many areas to add that diverse experience levels into the squad. I just think that we kind of in a position that we don't need those lone players necessarily. Alici was the next person to comment, and he said that the line on his kit has peeled off. Now, this was something that I covered way back in my Talk the Ball, but I did say keep me posted. So I would ask you to say how many times did you wear the kit, and did you wash it normally, or was it you actually was super careful with it, as in you did everything it said on the instructions? Do let me know. I'll cover this more next week, as I want to know more about this, as I will continue to talk about it because I know this is a pressing issue. Anyway, if any of you guys have had something similar to this, or it's completely fine. Let me know. I want to make arguments from both sides on whether the kit is fantastic or it's not. To be honest, I don't know. I don't have the home kit yet. I still have the training stuff that I use in my analysis videos. I wash that every now and then and are really careful with washing it. It hasn't fallen apart. But then again, I don't wear it all the time. I just wear it for my analysis videos and take it off. So the next person to comment was Lucas United, and he commented, "Moo! Come on, you Lions." Now, I've got to say, I absolutely love that comment. It's great to show a bit of passion, especially for Millwall. I really hope we can get promotion this year. And I do think it'll be much better. We feel much more accomplished if there won't be loan players in that team, especially players that could cause a little bit of a problem if they leave us and then come back to play well against us. Then finally, another person is talking about loans. It seems loans are in the air at the moment. Everyone's talking about them. Everyone wants them. I'm not too sure though, but Harry CD said, "It's very unlikely we'll bring in loan players in January, as our chairman hates us bringing in loan players. He thinks it's a waste of money paying for players who aren't fully committed to the club. When things go wrong, they stop giving 100%, which I agree with to some extent. However, a Premier League loan player wouldn't go amiss to add something new to our squad." Now, to be honest, this is how I feel about it. I think that the scenario with a loan player, we couldn't turn it down because it would be such an important player from a Premier League point of view. But what area would we need to add a player to? I think we're really comfortable at the moment, and I think our players, they're doing really well. And if they're not doing well, then the backup players to them are doing well. We've got youth team players that can come in, they can make a difference. At the end of the day, Harris's plan is built around the youth. So I kind of feel that loans would be deterring away. Yeah, fair enough, he had loans last season, but that was to fill in the gaps of the team. He's had a pretty decent amount of time now to build the squad he wants, and I feel that he's got that now. But I would like to know who you would put into the team from Premier League on loan to us. How would they fit into the team and what position, obviously? I just think it'd be quite interesting to find that out. So now it's that time in the podcast where we take a look at this week's loan players. Yes, it's the Loan Watch, and this week it's very interesting as Jamie Philpott's Bromley didn't actually play during this FA Cup week, but David Ford and Paris Cowan-Hall battled out as Portsmouth lost 2-1 to Wycombe Wanderers. So in this game, David Ford played 90 minutes. Obviously, he didn't keep a clean sheet, hence the scoreline, which that actually did mean that Portsmouth got knocked out of the FA Cup first round. However, Paris Cowan-Hall actually grabbed the opening goal of the game against his former teammate, and he did eventually get subbed off in the 72nd minute as his side Wycombe qualified for the next round. And this was only after former Millwall player Abayu Akinfenwa grabbed the winner. So Millwall is everywhere at the moment. Akinfenwa is fantastic though. Wouldn't want him back at Millwall just for the fact I just don't think he's good enough. But he is still a great character to have in the dressing room. So I really do like that Wycombe got him. Obviously, otherwise he would have been a free agent. I don't think he would have lasted long as a free agent because he is a great character and he's a fantastic individual. And before we get into the Millwall news, we have to see how Millwall did in their FA Cup first round affair against Southend United. So we did win this game 1-0, and it was a really cagey battle until Marlon Romeo scored for Millwall in the 88th minute. And it really did look like it'd have to go to a replay at the Roots Hall Stadium. And well, last time Millwall played there, we lost 3-1, so I'd rather not go there again to play there. Now, Marlon's goal was assisted by David Worrell, a former Southend United player, can I just add, and he really wanted the chance to perform. And well, he did after coming on as a substitute, and that goal helped us into the second round. And now we know when we'll be facing Charlton Athletic, as it will be on the 21st of December, the final game before Christmas. So I do expect to hear some of you guys singing, "All we want for Christmas is 3 points against Charlton." I really think that would be nice to hear. So it's come to that time in the podcast where we will cover the Millwall news, and we have a couple of stories this week. And the first one comes from Neil Harris, as he says that Millwall are in a best place really for their new CEO Steve Cavana to come in after he replaces Andy Ambler, who has gone to work for the FA. Neil also said that Steve has plenty of experience and will add all of these experience to Millwall, and above all, Steve loves football, so Millwall really are in great hands. And just on a side note, Steve Cavana will also be fighting to keep the land around Millwall, so he already faces a job when arriving, so it's going to be interesting to see whether he can help us defend our den. This next bit of news again comes from Neil Harris, but this time he's talking about Steve Morrison's injury. So I don't know whether many of you actually know this, but Millwall had to replace Steve Morrison in the 42nd minute as he got injured, and that injury is something to do with his knee. But it's to do with the way that he went down that really worries Neil Harris the most, because he went down with no one around, and usually that means it could be a really, really bad issue. Obviously, a couple of players have gone down like that, and it's been long term. Hopefully, though, it isn't quite bad. The club don't know quite yet. Obviously, by the time of this podcast going out, it'll be more known as we would be playing Luton tonight. But hopefully, as I said, it won't be too long, and Morrison will actually be playing very soon for us. Now, another player got injured. That was Ben Thompson, and he was subbed off, but they're not thinking it was that serious. Maybe it was a cut to the ear or something along those lines. But it should mean that Ben Thompson will be fine. Not too worrying there at all. Shane Ferguson is the next person to be involved in the next story, as he says that Millwall's form is largely down to Steve Morrison's confidence. He says the 25-yard volley that he scored against Oxford comes naturally to him, as he's always doing stuff like this in training, and he actually tries to score lobs all the time, at least once a game as well. So he also said Morrison's real confidence is a morale boost for the team, and his goal came at the perfect time and they really needed it. The final story again comes from Neil Harris, as he congratulates his hard-working Millwall team. He said that we stuck at it, and he told the players at half-time that there is going to be some cup magic. It is the FA Cup. If they continue to play the way they did, then they would definitely get some cup magic in their favour. And long behold, Marlon Romeo scored in the dying embers of the match. He also praised the clean sheet. I've got to be honest, for me, that seems that that's going to come to some importance, as it's our first clean sheet since August, where we kept 2 against both Oldham Athletic and West Bromwich Albion's youth team in the Checkatrade Trophy. He also said that Williams was unlucky not to score, as he's a great finisher, and that he was impressed with Sean Hutchinson for starting his first full 90 minutes for Millwall after overcoming his long-term injury. He said his aggression and ability to lead a team really played a part in their win against Southend. So that is all we got time for today at least, but do feel free to put your questions and opinions in the comment section for the next Talk to Wall. However, before I go, don't forget to put your score predictions for the Luton Town game and the Bristol Rovers match in the comment section. As I said, do specify which one so I know. If you're commenting on both, just say which one it is in maybe brackets, as next week I will be covering them and highlighting the good and bad points of the game and Millwall as a whole, as I do every week. So obviously, don't feel afraid to put anything. As I said, I want to know more stuff about the kit, etc, etc. So like, comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys next week for the next Talk the Wall. But until then, goodbye.